Good morning. I am Divya Jyoti, lecturer in computer engineering from Pandit Jaya Government Polytechnic College, Hoshiarpur. Today we are going to learn about multimedia hardware. In the previous lecture, you must have learnt about what is multimedia. Multimedia is the integration of media such as text, graphics, animations, sound, and video to communicate or express an idea or any concept. A multimedia system which is used to create multimedia applications, it has two main components which can be categorized as hardware and software components. Today we are going to learn about the various hardware components of a multimedia system. Hardware refers to the set of all physical devices attached to the computer. The physical device may be any device which you can touch. So, in multimedia systems, the hardware components can be classified into 5 categories. These are connecting devices, capture or input devices, display or output devices, then storage devices, and finally are the communication networks or communicating devices. The hardware requirement in multimedia projects actually depends upon the personal preference, budget of your project, project delivery requirements, and the type of content and material which is present in your multimedia project. So, first of all are the connecting devices. Examples of connecting devices are SCSI, which stands for Small Computer System Interface, USB Universal Serial Bus, MCI, that is Media Control Interface, IDE, that is Integrated Drive Electronics Interface. Actually, all these devices provide interfaces for physically connecting and transferring data between computers and peripheral devices. Next are the capture devices, or you can say the input devices which are used to capture the input for the multimedia application. Various capture devices include video camera, video recorder, audio microphone, keyboards, mouse, graphics tablets, and we will discuss each of these devices one by one. Display or output devices like speakers, high resolution monitors, printers. Storage devices include the devices which are used for storing the multimedia data permanently, like hard disk, CD-ROMs, or the other variations of CDs, DVDs, and its variations. Communication networks include Ethernet, intranets, internets, which are used for communicating or distributing the multimedia applications. So, first of all, we are going to learn about the various capture or input devices. What is an input device? A peripheral device which is used to provide data and control signals to a computer. A wide variety of input devices is used to create and present multimedia projects, such as keyboard, pointing devices, which includes mouse, trackball, touchscreen, light pen, OCR, that is optical character reader, scanners, digital cameras, web cameras, joysticks, microphones. All these are the examples of input devices. First of all, learn about the keyboard. It is a human interface device which is represented as a layout of buttons, as you can see in the figure. Each button, or which is called a key, that can be used to either input a linguistic character to a computer or to call upon a particular function of the computer. A typical multimedia keyboard contains buttons that control various computer processes, such as turning on the computer's power, putting the CPU to sleep, and waking it up again. There are special keys to access the internet, music, and other frequently used programs such as email. Back, forward, stop, refresh buttons, they are usually present on such multimedia keyboards, along with the bookmarked favorites and whatever web pages the user has set up. Volume control is another function that the multimedia keyboards possess. There are keys for lowering and raising the volume of the computer, and they are clearly marked with easily recognizable speaker icons on the keys. These are useful for controlling the music programs such as Windows Media Player, or when you are playing any movie in other media players also. So, this diagram or this picture shows the categorized keys, For example, there are function keys, alphanumeric keys, navigation keys. On the right hand side is the numeric keypad, and at the top there is a set of multimedia buttons. Next are pointing devices. A pointing device is any human interface device that allows a user to input spatial data to a computer, usually by detecting the movement across a physical surface like across a monitor screen. There are a range of pointing devices which are used in multimedia development and delivery, such as mouse, trackball, digitizer, light pen. All these are the examples of pointing devices which are used for creating multimedia applications. First is the mouse. It is a small device that you move across a pad in order to point to a place on a display screen on your monitor, and thus execute a command by clicking it. The picture shows a typical mechanical mouse which contains two buttons, right and left, and a wheel for revolving the for scrolling the cursor along the screen. There are various variants of mouse. The first was mechanical mouse. It is a ball mouse. These two diagrams are showing the example of a mechanical mouse. In the second diagram, the bottom view is shown. Here is a ball in the center, which is situated in the center in a mechanical mouse. A ball mouse has two freely rotating rollers, as you can see here. They are located 90 degrees apart. One roller detects the forward and backward motion of the mouse, and the other detects the left and right motion. Opposite to the two rollers is a third one, that is spring loader to push the ball against the other two rollers. So this is the mechanical mechanism which is used in the mechanical mouse. Second is the optical mouse. It makes use of one or more light emitting diodes and an imaging array of photodiodes to detect movement relative to the underlying surface rather than moving parts as does a mechanical mouse. That means it doesn't contain a ball inside it. Instead of that, it contains the light emitting diodes. One example of such optical mouse is laser mouse, which makes use of coherent light, that is laser, for determining the movement on the surface of the screen. Second is the trackball. It is a pointing device consisting of a ball held by a socket containing sensors to detect a rotation of the ball about two axes. The user rolls the ball with the thumb, as you can see in the picture. It may also roll the ball with fingers or the palm of the hand to move a cursor. Large trackballs are common on CAD workstations, that is computer aided design workstations, for easy precision. Before the advent of the touchpad, small trackballs were common on portable computers like on your laptops. Now there are touchpads available on the laptops, but before the advent of the touchpad, small trackballs were common on these computers, where there may be no desk space on which to run a mouse. Large trackballs are also seen on computerized special purpose workstations such as radar consoles in air traffic control room, or sonar equipment on a ship or a submarine. Next input device or capture device is the light pen. It is a pointing device which is shaped like a pen and is connected to the visual display unit, that is your monitor. It is placed against the monitor to point the spot for entering and modifying data, for positioning an object on the screen, or for selecting an action for an object with greater positional accuracy. The tip of the light pen actually contains a light sensitive element which, when placed against the screen, detects the light from the screen, enabling the computer to identify the location, that is the coordinates of that particular spot which is touched by the pen on the screen. So this diagram shows the internal structure of a light pen. Here is a photoelectric cell, or you can, which is made up of photo sensitive material, which detects the light from the screen, coming from the screen, and then generate the signal to give generate the signal for the computer. Light pens have the advantage of drawing directly onto the screen of your monitor, but this can become uncomfortable and they are not as accurate as digitizing tablets. Light pens are used by engineers, for example, in designing anything from microprocessor chips to airplane parts. They are also used for healthcare applications, for example, for hospital patient records, for bookkeeping, financial analysis, pharmacy management, dental patient records, and numerous other tasks related to healthcare applications. They are also used in graphics programs for drawings and for drawing graphics and images directly onto the screen. Next is the digitizing tablet. It is also called a digitizer or graphics tablet, or you can simply call it a touch tablet, or simply a tablet. It is a magnetic device which is used for entering drawings and sketches into a computer. It converts the graphics and pictorial data which is drawn over it into binary input. A digitizing tablet consists of an electronic tablet and a pen, and this pen is called a stylus, which looks like a simple ballpoint pen, but it uses an electronic head instead of ink. The tablet contains electronics that enable it to detect the movement of the pen over the tablet and translate the movements into digital signals that it will send to the computer. For example, we can easily do our signatures by using a pen called stylus on the digitizing tablet. The digitizer changes the signatures into a bitmap and sends them to the computer for storage. That is, it converts the signatures into the binary form and then sends to the computer for storage. Digitizer is used for doing fine works of drawings and image manipulation applications, for drafting work like engineering drawing. Educators make use of tablets in classrooms to project handwritten notes for or lessons. Online teachers may also use a tablet for marking student work or for live tutorials or lessons, especially where complex visual information or mathematical equations are required. Next is the touch screen. It is an electronic visual display that can detect the presence and location of a touch within the display area. It is an input device which responds to the touch of a user's finger, hand, or some other passive objects like a stylus. It enables one to interact directly with what is displayed rather than indirectly with a pointer controlled by a mouse or touchpad. We can directly interact with the screen, what is displayed on the screen. We don't need any other pointing device like a mouse or trackball or any device, except in the case of the stylus, which we may also use with the touch screen. Touch screens are commonly used in devices such as tablet computers, that is tabs. They are also used with smartphones, video game consoles, ATM machines, satellite navigation devices, kiosks such as museum displays. So these are the diagrams or the pictures which show the various uses of the touch screens, like your monitor, your kiosk, your mobile phones, and finally your ATM machine. Next is the OCR, that is optical character recognition system. It involves the mechanical or electronic translation of scanned images of handwritten, typewritten, or printer text into machine encoded text. It is a common method of digitizing printer text so that they can be electronically searched, stored more compactly, displayed online, and used in machine processes such as machine translation, text to speech, then text mining, etc. So optical character OCR is also known as optical character reader. It uses the concept of optical character recognition, which is a method of digitizing the printer text. That means converting the printer text or handwritten text electronically into the text which can be stored more compactly, displayed online, and used in various machine processes. It is widely used to convert books and documents into electronic files, and these books and documents are then made available online. You can search for such books which are converted using the OCR. To computerize a record keeping system in an office, or to publish the text on a website, OCR machines can be used. Microphone is also called a mic. It is a type of transducer, that is a device which converts energy from one form to another. So microphone converts acoustical energy, that is sound waves, into electrical energy. Some microphones can be plugged into the dedicated 3.5 millimeter inputs on your laptop or desktop computer, and also they can also be plugged into a USB port. This diagram shows a particular handheld mic, that how the sound waves are being converted into electrical signals. The diaphragm is a thin piece of material such as a paper, plastic or aluminium, which vibrates when it is struck by sound waves and creates electric current. In a typical handheld mic like the one above, the diaphragm is located in the head of the microphone, as you can see here. Next are the imaging and video input devices, the devices which are used for giving input of images and video to into our multimedia applications. First is the image scanner, digital camera, webcam. These are the imaging and video input, commonly used video and imaging input devices which are used in multimedia projects. Image scanner is commonly known as a scanner. It is a device that optically scans images, printed text, handwritten text or an object, and converts it to a digital image. There are various types of scanners available. First is the flatbed scanner. These scanners let you scan a document by placing it flat against a glass panel. It is the most common type of scanner which is used. So this picture shows the common flatbed scanner. The document to be scanned, that is placed over the glass panel and covered with the lid. Second type of scanners are handheld scanners. As you can see in the pictures, that they can be held in hand while scanning the documents. They are smaller in size, and they must be moved manually or semi-manually in successive sections over the document in order to scan the whole document. Sheet fed scanners, they feed the document through a lighted slot in order to scan them, similar to fax machines. These are the types of scanners which are increasingly built into machines such as multifunction printers, where more than one functions are performed: printing, then making the photostat copies, and then also fax machines are also embedded into a single machine. So these type of scanners are built into such multifunction printers. Scanners are used by the publishing industry to capture incredibly detailed images. This picture shows a particular type or typical type of drum scanner which is used. Now a scanner can be characterized by different properties. First is resolution. It defines the fineness of the scan, that is the fineness of the image or the document which is scanned. It is expressed in dots per inch, which is also referred to as DPI. Second characteristic of a scanner is the format of the document. Depending upon the size of the scanner, scanners are able to accommodate the documents of different sizes, generally A4 or more rarely A3. Acquisition speed, it represents the scanner's ability to pick up a large number of pages per minute. That means per minute how many pages a scanner scans per minute, that is its acquisition speed. It is expressed in pages per minute. It depends upon the document format and the resolution chosen for the scan. Next is the interface, that is the scanner connector, how the scanner is connected to the computer or your laptop. There are various types of interfaces like firewire, USB, SCSI or parallel port. Next are the physical characteristics of a scanner. It includes size in terms of the physical dimensions of the scanner, weight, electricity consumption which is measured or expressed in watts, operating and storage temperatures, noise level. Scanners can be very noisy and this may cause considerable disturbance. Accessories which are provided along with the scanner like the drivers, CD, user manual, connection cables. Working principle of a scanner. Let's now learn about the working principle of a flatbed scanner, that how a scanner works. A flatbed scanner has a motor driven lighter slot which scans the document line by line under a transparent glass panel on which the document is placed with the scanning side face down. The high intensity light emitted is reflected by the document which is placed over the glass panel and converges towards a series of captors via a system of lenses and mirrors. The captors then convert the light intensities received into electrical signals, which are in turn converted into digital data by an analog to digital converter. So this picture shows the particular or the working principle of a scanner. The document to be scanned is placed over the glass plate. Movable light source, light is coming from a movable light source, and when it gets reflected from the document, it moves towards the a system of fixed and movable mirrors, and in the last it is captured by the CCD captor devices which convert the light into electrical signals, and finally from these captors the electrical signals are converted into digital data by the digital to analog to digital converter, and then finally stored on your computer. Each line is broken down into basic dots which is called pixel. A captor analyzes the color of each pixel, and the color of each pixel is broken down into three components, that is the three primary colors red, green and blue. Each color component is measured and then represented by a digital value. Next input device is the digital camera. It is also called digicam. It is a camera that takes video or still photographs or both digitally by recording images via an electronic image sensor. It is the main device used in the field of digital photography. Most 21st century cameras are digital. Unlike conventional film camera, in this digital camera an image sensor is used that converts light into the electrical charges. Now, unlike conventional film cameras, digital cameras, there are some things that digital cameras can do, like displaying images on a screen immediately after they are recorded, or storing thousands of images on a single small memory device which is called a memory card, or deleting images to free storage space from the memory device. The majority, including most compact cameras, can record moving video with sound as well as still photographs. Some can even also crop and perform other elementary image editing. That means in addition to providing or capturing the images, they also provide the image editing features. Resolution of a digicam is the amount of detail that the camera can capture. It is measured in pixels. You must have learned that this camera is of 8 megapixels or 5 megapixels, so this represents its resolution. The more pixels a camera has, the more detail it can capture, and the larger pictures can be without becoming blurry. Some typical resolutions include like 1600 by 1200, which is commonly found on 2.1 megapixel cameras. Then 2240 by 1600 by 80 found on 4 megapixel cameras. Then 4064 by 2704, this is the resolution which is commonly found on 11.1 megapixels. So megapixels cameras, this represents the resolution of a digicam. Many phone cameras and most separate digital cameras, they use memory cards having flash memory to store image data. Next, imaging device is webcam. It is a video camera which feeds its images in real time to a computer or computer network, often by USB, Ethernet or Wi-Fi. The uses of web camera in multimedia applications include, for example, for video calling and video conferencing, that is one-to-one live video communication over the internet, web cameras are used. Video security, webcams are also used as security cameras. Video clips and stills, they can be used to take video clips and still pictures. Now you must have seen that laptops are coming with built-in or embedded web cameras, and they can also be attached externally to your computer. Next is joystick. It is an input device consisting of a stick that pivots on a base and reports its angle or direction to the device it is controlling. Joysticks are often used to control video games and usually have one or more push buttons whose state can also be read by the computer. So you must have seen joysticks mostly in video games they are used. They are also used for controlling the machines such as cranes, trucks, underwater unmanned vehicles, wheelchairs, surveillance cameras. Miniature finger operated joysticks have been adopted as input devices for smaller electronic equipment such as mobile phones. So after discussing about the various input devices which provide input in multimedia applications, now we are going to learn about the output devices which provide output to the user, whether it is in the form of an electronic file, or it is in the form of a hard copy, or it is in the form of a sound. First output device which are going to learn is a printer, which is the output device which produces a hard copy output of on the paper. Various types of printer are mainly we can classify the printers into two categories, that is impact and non-impact. Impact printers have a mechanism that touches the paper in order to create an image. That means in order to create an image or to print some image or text onto a paper, the printer head actually touches the paper. And they are but nowadays they are either obsolete or their use is limited to special applications. The other category is the non-impact printers. They do not touch the paper when creating an image. Non-impact technologies are routinely found in modern printers. Impact printers, they rely on a forcible impact to transfer ink to the media. They use a print head that either hits the surface of the ink ribbon, pressing the ink ribbon against the paper, which is similar to the action of a typewriter, or hits the back of the paper, pressing the paper against the ink ribbon. Example of such an impact printer is IBM 1403. Some examples of impact printers which were used earlier were daisy wheel printers. They operate in much the same fashion as a typewriter. A hammer strikes a wheel with petals, as you can see in the picture, which is called a daisy wheel, and each petal containing a letter form at its tip. It is in the form of a daisy wheel and each petal contains a letter form at its tip. The letter form strikes a ribbon of ink, depositing the ink on the page and thus printing a character. By rotating the daisy wheel, different characters are selected for printing. Next type of impact printers is dot matrix printers. They use a series of small pins to strike a ribbon coated with ink, causing the ink to transfer to the paper at the point of impact. Example is Epson MX80, which was a popular model of dot matrix printer. Line printers, as the name implies, line printers print an entire line of text at a time. They were the fastest of all impact printers and were used for bulk printing in large computer centers. A line printer could print at 1100 lines per minute or faster, frequently printing pages more rapidly than many current laser printers. They were virtually never used with personal computers and have now been replaced by high speed laser printers. Four principal designs of line printers existed.